I think
Five
I see
seconds
Dota
remaining.
is a lot like a game of poker, you know? At the start, you think it's just a game of strategy, skill, chance, but as you learn the game deeper and learn about all these players and the competitive side deeper, you actually realize it's also a game of psychology and emotional integrity, you know?
hmm And about knowing all the other people at the table. It's
Exactly. Learning your reads.
At any rate, FNG sort of had to wipe the slate clean. I have no doubt that after working with a couple of veterans there as well, that still clashed. I have no doubt that that
Dire
team was an
team
internally troubled one. He just wanted to get a solid new start with a crew of people who, he knows he can shape, he can form. FNG is an extremely smart guy. I've spoken with him a fair bit when I was in Russia.
Radiant team
He lives
battle.
in
Queen
kind of in the
of
same town as where Vega is based.
Pain.
So I've seen him around. And yeah, I gotta say, I'm very happy to see that his philosophy for how to play this game is already paying off so soon. And with these people who, if they can put up a fight like this against Alt but Gold, clearly deserve to be seen on the biggest stages.
Yeah,
10
yeah, no, I'd
seconds
agree, I'd
remaining.
agree. And now the doors are wide open in CIS
5
because
seconds
Navi,
remaining. Dire
they get
team
knocked
battle.
out entirely. VP down to the minor qualifiers. I mean, that is not where an organization like them want to be. And all of a sudden, CIS, we might actually get to see a little bit of organization coming in the tier 2 scene over here because there is a real chance for one of these teams to step up and make it in the new season as a new king of CIS. You know, the Guardians are gone. The Guardians are out of here, so
10
it all becomes
seconds
very
remaining.
important now for amongst these teams to suddenly go, oh, we need to get our shit
5
together.
seconds
We need to
remaining.
make sure people know what we can do. So everybody now, I think this is going to be the most high performing you will see these teams as they have suddenly realized that Virtus Pro are not the team which they should be right now. Navi are not the team they should be right now, and there's a real opportunity to be the number one and get some competitive experience over at the major and then come back and slam out another qualifiers and secure themselves at the top. This is an opportunity which CIS hasn't seen in, I would say, about 2 or 3 years, just because of like the gatekeeping here. You know, they've made it to ESL events, they've made it to majors, these smaller teams, but the consistency just isn't there. They've never had the chance to go back again and again because the door is just blocked by Virtus Pro and Navi sometimes as well. So yeah, now there's a chance, and now I'm hoping we see these leaders. You know, I just think that FNG is probably I think FNG is basically like a strong captain, a strong leader in the middle of a talent-rich environment, and he just has such a good opportunity to make up this team. And he's gone with these players on the side of Gambit. And I mean, do you think this is his dream roster right now? Do you think these are all the hero players he wants, or do you think if he manages to make it to the major with these guys, gets a half decent finish, that he might just swap out for the people that want to join the team now?
No, he's loyal to his guys.
10
I am
seconds.
Like
straight up.
even if this was not the roster that he envisioned at the start,
5 seconds
it
remaining.
is definitely going to be the roster that he's going to go as far as possible.
Well, a lot of pressure, which FNG will certainly be putting on these guys. But yeah, I mean, even though when you look at, Gambit, for example, at ESL Birmingham and at other events as well, Gambit have always felt like a team which is very relaxed, which is very, well, not relaxed compared to other squads, but definitely relaxed compared to usual CIS squads. You know, Navi, Virtus Pro, Virtus Pro, they have their momentum, but if things aren't going well for Virtus Pro, they will look serious, they will look upset, they will look mad. And, that could be one of the contributing factors to how they struggle at TI so much. But Gambit, they never really look too upset. And I think that's probably the force of FNG, which again is a really important thing for CIS to have in a captain. But let's just bring things back to these drafts right now. You know, I can sing praises about FNG all day, but Old Gold, certainly a formidable opponent here. The experience and the skill in this team cannot be underestimated, and they're going to go with a Shadow Demon, Gyrocopter, Earth Spirit, and a Bristleback. I'm pretty excited to see a Velhor Earth Spirit coming out, to be honest.
You may now select your heroes.
He is definitely known to make a really big impact on that hero. And we got some other classics coming up here as well. G on the Dragon Knight.
DDK.
That is just that hero player combination goes back literal years. It might be a decade by now.
Absolutely, and I'm
So
excited to see GDK versus GPK at the mid lane as he's back on his quap.
yeah, so DK, one of the heroes that can really make life hard for a Quap, who is by nature a lane dominator, and she just doesn't get to push him out of the lane. He regens too much. He makes last hitting actually hard for her with the damage reduction on that fire breath. And she likes going away for ganks. You can see on the previous game that she was teleporting into this first chronosphere on the bot lane, for example. Against the Dragon Knight, if you do that, you lose your tower.
Yeah, absolutely. He's of such a good pressure, and I love this lane matchup from All But Gold. I think they've done a good job of picking into the Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, you've got a Slark coming out for Gambit. Now, it does feel like a fairly nice Slark game. He can lane up okay versus a Bristleback. You know, it's no one really wins versus a Bristleback lane. No one really has a great time, but he can last okay. He can also build a Shadow Blade if he fancies going for the break a little bit later on, but overall, I think it's a fairly okay Slark game.
I'd say so, yes. He's one of those heroes, once again, that can really close the gap with the gyrocopter, get on top of him.
Prepare for battle.
Also, once again, not that much lockdown on either of the teams, though he's going to have to watch out for that DK coming out with perhaps a Shadow Blade later in the game as well. Going to see if G wants to go the proper initiating route, where after you bring down the first tier 1 towers, you make use of that dark space to initiate more, or if he wants to go perhaps with the more carry Radiance build. I think a lot of that depends on if BZZ gets things going on the side lane.
Yeah, if he
BZZ
can
can
get that
tank,
ball
if
rolling.
he can front line, excuse me, then G can definitely look to take his time building up his items a little bit more.
30
But
seconds to battle.
if BZZ struggles, we're probably going to need to see G make something happen.
Yeah, really important that this Bristleback can find some pressure and find some farm as well. Of course, always an option to go back into the jungle and play around with these stacks here. Hips, what does it say?
I'm not going to try to pronounce that, but I am going to read it just because I like practicing reading Cyrillic.
Little fight breaking down at the top rune, and actually Vampire's able to grab that one despite not looking like he was that close to the rune, but nevertheless, quick fingers get the gold. Now, Shashlo down in the bottom lane able to grab them both, which means there's going to be 3 bounty runes going the way of Gambit. The gold, a little bit poor to start things off. In the middle lane, big blocks coming in from GPK. Gmeow leaving his creeps to go free, and GPK lands it perfectly, getting it just on. But it does mean that the range creep is going to die first, so should push in G's favor now, especially with the tower also joining in the pile on these creeps. So he's just disrupting the lane as much as possible. Wants to really get up a couple of levels in Dragon's Blood so that he can survive the Queen of Pain's harass. And that's what he's going to be able to do with the creeps coming under his tower. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, Shashlo taking a ton of damage from Illidan and Vanscore as the lane gets started off in a rather sticky fashion down here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Gambit kept Vampire on top to try and see if they could get the first blood off with the tri-lane start. But the heroes on All But Gold were playing just a little bit too careful, and now, yeah, BZZ went all the way back to pull this creep wave. You see Velior skating around behind him. And not really any way for Vampire to toss BZZ back here, for example, so not a lot of risk.
Although BZ is taking a fair amount of damage here during all of this, but also getting some quills off as the toss comes in, but a roll on forwards. FNG could be in some trouble. BZZ comes in, and that's going to be a kill going his way. A whole lane of creeps, and now FNG as well. All But Gold getting the gold. Is down in the bottom lane. Shashlo's got to fall as well. A rough start to the game for Gambit as they make a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, at the very least, Shashlo has got a wave pushing into his tower right now, so he's going to get a decent way towards his level 3. But as an Abaddon, you don't really want to be starting face-to-face with a ranged carry. This is not a fun time for him. But yeah, his support is not going to come in. He is playing Ring Around Rosie with BZZ and Valhur.
Rolling on FNG, but BZZ looks like he will be ticked off by one more click. FNG finds it, getting revenge for his previous death. Velhor, they're not too interested in trying to bring down this Earth Spirit. He can do whatever he wants. Meanwhile, Dream's having a fantastic time. Solo XP, solo gold, 16 and 3, not struggling at all in this lane. as he picks up all of the CS. In fact, I'm not sure he's missed one yet.
Oh no, this is definitely the dream
That's actually
for him.
the dream for
Slug's
dream.
fragile in lane.
Yeah, yeah. If you leave him alone, he's very happy. Well, he's kind of become a little less fragile in lane recently as Velhol denies himself. But to a neutral creep, so it's going to be a long time before he's back. But,
He did mess with GPK's lane equilibrium before he died, I think. Something went wrong here, and now GPK has another wave under tower. She's going to be very happy with that.
Yeah, things are... it's a very exciting game so far. I mean, talking about laning phases, it's about as save just running at each other. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, Shashlo's suicide in the bottom lane, but also got a lot of damage up onto Van scoring all done just by himself. And now coming back in to keep on putting off that pressure.
BZZ bought himself a bottle just so that he can sustain himself, keep spamming out these quill sprays and dragging away these these creep waves. But it does mean that the supports on the side of Gambit have decided to leave him alone, and they are now waiting in the wings to see if they can use this Invis rune. Toss G back, maybe? He's playing very...
Yeah, they might have realized that the Tiny's been missing for a while.
Yeah, you can see FNG right there. He was positioned to be a toss-back target.
Yeet. Send him in onto GPK. GPK drags him back, takes the pits from the towers as well. FNG coming over. Velhol's trying to disrupt as best he can. In comes a Frost, tossing him back, but unfortunately Velhol will not be able to save G. Might be able to get the return kill into example though. And sorry, Vampire is BZZ sticking on the front lines now, forcing them to, well, not really do anything actually. It's just existing here. Meanwhile, disruption onto Van's Cures. He's able to steal the haste rune and get himself to safety, as he was at danger of being run down by Shashlo there. And Slug, just look at him. He's even dragging the creeps over to the hard camps now, just kind of getting as much farm as possible in any way he can. So they're going to have to come back and deal with this Slug. He's already had a fantastic start to the game. He's heading for an illegal timing on his Midas right now, as he's just completely left alone. Now BZZ is going to make his way
Call the
over.
cops on this, man. This is theft.
Yeah, he's just getting way too much out of this now. I'm not entirely sure what Old But Gold's plan is to deal with this. Especially as we already said, it's a good Slark game. Like, they can't do that much against him once he gets online, and he's going to be getting online way before anybody else right now. Does decide to grab a full wand. Okay, so he's actually just bought out, so he's not going to be getting a stupid timing on his Midas. He thinks that BZZ is going to come in and now lane against him and try and put some pressure on him. So nice reactions there, to be honest.
A regular good timing on it, I'm sure. So, yeah, BZZ, I like his decision to return to lane here. The weakest part in a Bristleback's lane is always right at the start, where you don't really have your innate tankiness up yet. So right now he's in a lot better position with those first couple of levels with that bottle to sustain his quill spray stacking a little bit more.
Oh, a toss back in the middle lane onto G once again, right under the tower. FNG gets the Frostbite as well. G getting beaten down. He might be tanky with the 3 points of Dragon's Blood, but unfortunately with that gank, his Dragon's Blood just gets emptied all over the floor.
And BZZ has to go back to... It's a shame, because if they up that pressure on the Slark a little bit earlier, the supports probably can't rotate mid, but instead they're a tiny bit off, and now BZZ gets found.
Dream is hungry. GPK coming in as well. Wants to land the Sonic where... doesn't even need to. I love the animation when you're just pumping Sonic where it's like... I like taking the deep breaths, about to throw out the screen, but it never comes. Just forcing him to run around in circles rather than run away from you. It's actually pretty smart, really. Using an ulti without using an ulti. And now Vampire looking for it again. G's trying to juke and jive through the creeps, but he gets the toss off anyway, despite being in the middle of the creep wave. DK taking hits. Might be okay this time around. I think he's tanky enough to survive, and Vampire's the one getting jumped upon right now. Velhol finishes him off. GPK is going to be a target, but they don't have the stun. Dragon Tail not leveled up, so GPK able to just run himself back on the tower and keep himself all hunky-dory. Vampire's just coming straight back in again. He's loving this middle lane. Tossing around heroes, double bottle, why not? G getting jumped upon, now they're going in deep. FNG, oh, I thought they were going to toss him in here, but he doesn't actually have the Frostbite, but he's got the dagger on him. The toss from Vampire is going to grab him that kill, and they are just bullying G. Meanwhile, Dream gets run down by Velhor and by BZZ, so it's a return kill up in the top lane, and that is your Slark, who you were hoping was having a pretty free time, and he was up until now. But that's going to set back his Midas a little tiny icky bit. Meanwhile, let's look at this bottom lane, which we haven't paid any attention to at all. It's Illidan Storm Rage on the Gyrocopter, also being given a fairly free time versus Shasha. I mean, Shasha's getting a bit more work done than BZZ is on the Slug, but no kill yet onto Illidan, so I think we're free to turn it over to Net Worth just now, as there's been a lot of violence, a lot of clashing, and Shashlo forced to pop the ultimate. See you later, buddy. Illidan asserting his dominance in this bottom lane.
And G is not happy here either. With the amount of attention that's been dragged towards him, he hasn't really been able to use that mid lane to actually get his levels up properly. So just to brace this right now, the farm doesn't matter too much, but on that DK you really want to be able to either start forcing that mid tower or start making rotations, and he is nowhere near that point yet. He is going to be sitting fairly still right there.
FNG getting beaten down by Velhor. Can he finish the job though? Yeah, the flames will do it. Velhor trying to get to Roche. Kill me, daddy! And he does. Roshan takes down the Ember Spirit, and now stun coming out onto the Tiny also. Vanskor, BZZ, they're all in the market for a bit of Tiny stake, and he's not going to be able to get to Roshan. Roche walking away, and Vampire gets killed off by Albert Gold. So, a nice little return trade there, just kind of keeping it nice and even. Gold with a rotation to make sure that things are pretty normal. And G now will also be able to get some poison damage off on the tower as well, which is very pleasant.
Yeah, he really needed this, and I like how much BZZ has been playing towards this mid lane, always being ready to come in here, but Vanskor, that's a risky place to be, my friend, but it's riskier for FNG.
Yeah, FNG just gets his cookies crumbled there as, well, Vampire tosses back the threat of BZZ, but they're still continuing the siege on this tower as the poison works through. One thing which I've always found interesting is, why does the Dragon Knight's Corrosive Breath work on towers? I mean, I've never really felt like that was supposed to... I always feel like Dota's full of things which used to be kind of bugs or mistakes or laziness or... you know, just bad game design, or not necessarily bad game design, but just like small mistakes, inconsistencies, yeah, which turn into features. I feel like Dragon's Breath working on towers, Corrosive Breath working on towers is definitely one of those things. And Stream's actually in a bit of trouble right now, but he's going to be able to purge off those goos, the Bristleback's sniffly snot.
He was all the way between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers on the offlane just now.
It's still going for him right now. Dream, he's still got a bunch of Quill Spray stacks on him, so he's got to be a little bit cautious, but they will be able to bring him down all the same. So, pretty safe in the end, and now Velhor stepping a little bit too close into the Slark. Slark trying to chase him down. As a Dark Pact, Velhor, Roshan, not going to be your friend this time around. See you later, Velhor.
Once again, action getting kind of too close to G, so he can't push in with this catapult wave. Too many heroes coming his way. And he's a little bit too hungry for the bounty rune out there. I do think that he has to continue to take these risks and play up, because in the end they are trading Gyrocopter farm for an abandoned farm, and as long as Gambit is happy with that, then all the gold should count their lucky stars, because they're going to get much more out of this Gyrocopter in the later stages of the game than Gambit is going to get out of Baden. Vampire moving back towards that mid lane.
He's a hungry monkey. He's been constantly looking for kills. He puts down this deep observer ward. They can see everything that's coming on here as G looking to try and take down this tower, but they're looking to get their revenge. And where is a Tiny? Here he is. The Avalanche comes out, the Frostbite as well. Look at Gambit just in full reverse, trying to get him as far back as possible. G's taking hits. He's down to 500 HP, but in comes Vanskor. He's got the disruption, but the Sonic Wave comes cutting through, and G should be finished off as a jump into the screen, finishes the job. Vanskor as well came to save the day, but ends up just adding to the problems. Now Velhor, he's turning up. What's up, boys? I want to grab myself a Queen of Pain, and I think he probably will. The magnetizes out onto her, and she gets ticked on down. Velhor kills off the mid laner, and Vampire and FNG need to be a little bit careful of him as well. He is a bit of a threat. Vampire not respecting Velhor right now, and he is just going to pop off. FNG slightly smarter, keeping his distance, not being too brave.
2 full levels for Velhor right there.
Yeah, he just killed a mid laner and a 4 position all by himself as a 4 position. That's classic Velhor spirit things, I think. This guy's a machine on this hero.
Yeah, and if you were Gambit,
FNG, they're still playing.
Play around with this.
TP out. Ezra Vampire's back, by the way. Ezra's GPK, the two people he just killed, come flying back in, and FNG is very proud of himself right now. He tips him up, taunting him for just about long enough to keep Velhor busy.
He should have really gotten out there, but at the same time, this is an Earth Spirit. He dropped all of his stones already, and that's actually what I wanted to say. Like, if he knows that an Earth Spirit's got all of his stones and he rolls in with his ultimate like that, he get the heck out of dodge. You can't actually fight that guy unless you get to burst him. If it's a long fight, he wins. He's gonna drop 6 stones, and you're going to be slowed and hurting for like a minute straight. It's disgusting. So, a little bit of a miscalculation there from Gambit, not realizing that if Velhor hadn't been doing things on the map, he's been saving up those stones.
Yep, counting your lucky stones. Vampire getting some pushing down at top lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Big dagger in his pocket. As the mid tower will finally fall. Hold the gold, get it eventually. It was a long drawn out push with a lot of action around it. This probably should slow down the game now that mid tower's fallen. I think Gambit just want to play a little bit tighter. Not really looking for the same kind of chaos and not to be drawn in to the very fast-paced game that's been so far. I mean, we're 10 and 10, 13 minutes in. This is what people,
they're going to be waiting for their Slark to get online, but he is not going to get online that fast if he gets caught like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, the demonic purge cannot be purged off. And oh, what a call in from the Earth Spirit, catching out Dream as he tries to get over the cliff. Good night, sweet little Slark. Good night.
He thought he was home free.
Yeah, he thought he was, but Velhor had other ideas. And oh, gee, with his Blink Dagger, Elder Dragon form off cooldown, might be looking for something with Velhor now as they move up to the top lane. Dashlow, he's a bit of a beefy target if they do want to try this. So instead they might move towards mid under this smoke. Smoke's gun might get popped by FNG here. Velhor trying not to let it happen. The FNG will have to be the target, but in comes GPK. Do they realize what's going on here as Velhor comes jumping through? Magnetize being used. He focuses up onto the Queen of Pain, forcing the Queen of Pain outside of this fight. Example now all left alone. Vampire getting focused on up. The roll comes in, will miss, but DK's right on top of him. Gets snugly in the trees, and the fire will roast that Tiny. Dragon's Breath finishes off the kill. Meanwhile, Shashlo and BZZ playing Catch the Pony. And unfortunately, BZZ is winning, but not any longer as GPK comes in, dropping the Sonic Wave, turning things around, and FNG claims it. Captain's kill.
That was perfect.
I'll take that.
And this game is...
A bit unfortunate that... Oh yeah, like... Please go ahead.
This game is just all over the place. It's been a really fun one to watch. 15 minutes in, and we have had a ton of kill. You know, people always say things like CIS aggression. That hasn't been a thing for
again.
Ow. Yeah, they're just chaining it perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Queen of Pain dropped like a rock.
Enemy has vision? No, they don't, actually.
No, they're just pretty damn good at this game, unfortunately for you.
I think it was another Invis rune on G. Must have been that.
Yeah, what do you think of the, you know, that kind of adage of CIS aggression, which everybody seems to talk about rather a lot? Is it a thing?
Yes, especially in the lower tier teams, but it very much irritated me when people have been describing Virtus Pro as this super aggressive CIS team for years, even in the times where they definitely weren't.
Yeah.
Just... Yes, they could play fast. No, they didn't actually at that time. And it was just weird seeing people use that term to describe them. So, normally, yes. And I think this is a great example of a CIS match with a lot of individual plays on these players who all have like a lot to offer in terms of individual skill as well.
Yeah, see, that's what I was about to mention. I think people believe CIS, well, they used to believe CIS was like a very aggressive region. Some people still do. Because, you know, I always say this, there's a lot of high individual skill and not that much, you know, solid leadership and kind of cohesion. I mean, VP broke the mold there as they're like one of the most cohesive teams, were one of the most cohesive teams in Dota, but yeah, I think that kind of gives the illusion that there's, you know, there's just scrappy. There's so many fights going on, but there's not that much aggression. I've never really thought that it's a it's a relevant thing for a long time. But
I mean, a lot was happening. Sure, it's the same as like with CIS Dota, or CS, excuse me, SCA Dota, for example. But That might just be because it's in India or something else.
Anyway, let's get back into this game as we have a pretty even match so far between Gambit and Albert Gold. Both teams kind of taking it slow, but Dream is the one I'm scared about right now. He's leading the net worth chart. He's got himself that Diffusal Blade, and he's going towards the BKB next and wants to be able to be in the front lines for his team. This is what Gambit are waiting towards. You know, they're kind of happy to rest, to sit back, to let Albert Gold pick them off occasionally if it means the Dream is able to farm up and become a threat in this game, which he certainly looks like he is becoming.
That was
Albert Gold did have a little bit of a difficult window though a while back, and their use of smokes very neatly carried them through that. I think that's one thing that sets them apart from, like, for example, we were watching the HR game, right? And they were in the same kind of bind with an enemy carry that was uncontested, and they didn't really use their smokes at all. Whereas you can see Albert Gold, another day, another smoke. They're gonna go in. Let's see if they have any new items that they're specifically smoking on. It is probably the Maelstrom 4G that they are going to be enjoying.
Yep, that's the next port of call. And then into the BKB. Really showing that they want to take the fight to Gambit. Is it too late to be going for this BKB? Also, the Gyrocop Dragon Imps I want to point out, which I really do not like on Illidan Stormrage. I think it's slow. You know, it gives you stats, but you're against a Queen of Pain and a Tiny. I want to see this BKB on mine next from Gyro.
He should go for the Aghanim's, I think, still, because he needs to be scaling, and he has enough frontliners. I think if you take the fights the right way, this Queen of Pain shouldn't actually be able to get on top of you, or at least if she does, she's going to die for it.
You took the bait.
I wonder, like, I imagine BZZ is going to farm up this last wave and then probably TP towards the mid tower, because you can't expect to smoke up into this mid area, right? Where you have been getting dewarded so heavily by FNG. Look at how heavily he's been contesting his own jungle here, securing the farm there for his cores with 1, 2, 3, 4 sentry wards.
Oh
Two
yeah,
obses.
he's been busy. He's been very busy, and his by doing this as well, you know, by denying this vision, you're kind of forcing Albert Gold constantly back into this area to re-establish their dominance. And that's all just going to move the attention away from the Slark, who's playing bottom side of the map. It's a very smart play from FNG just to keep them locked in here by constantly forcing them out.
I know I can trust you guys.
Nice, I like it. So, BZZ, he's got himself the pipe and he's going for the Solar Crest next. That is what he is into. Solar Crest on Bristleback. That's something we've seen a ton. Does seem to make sense though, I guess. I mean, Quill Spray is physical after all, and Medallion Solar Crest, you know?
Yeah, it's a very natural progression for him, as well as that he also really likes the extra evasion you get from that. And in turn, his team is going to enjoy the fact that after he's got this item up, you can take Roshan very easily with a Bristleback as both your frontliner and your damage amplifier.
Now, nobody wins.
You still get
Now,
evasion from Solar
nobody
Crest?
wins.
Do you do still? It at least it does. It did before.
Yeah, it did before. It just gives yeah, no, it just gives armor, attributes, movement speed, and mana regeneration.
Yeah, sometimes that stuff just slips in mind. At any rate, it
Fair
used to be a
enough.
very,
Solar
very
Crest has
much
changed
built
so
item
much.
before,
Yeah.
which is why it makes a lot of sense for me that he's still going. And apart from that, if they actually get to lock either the Quap or the Slark down, you usually have pretty small windows with these heroes where you have to deal all of the damage to them or they're going to get away. The physical damage amplification is definitely going to come in handy there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This makes you give you kill threat as well in the fights. Amps it up a little bit more, and of course the slow, the bonus movement speed, everything Bristleback. So Gambit will patiently for Albert Gold to get in.
Now,
Maybe Illidan threw his back out or something. Needs to you know, get his pain meds, something like that. Old man Illidan.
I can't hear
I'm old with Illidan.
Illidan. I imagine that he's around my age, something like 28.
An old man in esports term. Decrepit.
Yeah. Oh
Very
yeah,
old.
I'm definitely an old witch.
Old witch kips.
Mhm.
Is that if you were in the game, do you think you'd be like a witchy hero? Oh my god, what is going on in the mini map?
Yes.
Someone has a macro. Multiple someones.
Yeah, both Dream and you know, there's so many of them doing it. I don't think
They're
that's the
actually
macro.
all getting in on it.
Surely this is like a trick or something you can do. Think it's a macro?
I mean, how else do you get the lines to straight is what I want to
Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's true. It looked pretty weird. Doing it.
They're making a really nice rainbow right now.
Yeah,
That
this is really pretty.
gold
Look at
fading
that.
in over the brown.
Aw.
I'm glad they're giving us some entertainment to watch here.
Who
Special
says there's
effects.
no
Hey,
Kappa
hey,
Pride in CIS?
Gee.
Oh,
Gee,
gee, that's not
what are
very
you doing?
nice. That's not very nice. You're ruining it.
But he can't see it. He can't see that he's ruining the enemy's art.
Heine's actually contributing to it, and he doesn't even. I'm not even sure he realizes.
I don't know. It's all dire right now.
Oh right, yeah. Okay. I. Oh, HP.
Such slow.
Wait, can they? Yeah, they
No,
see
no,
him.
it's just-
Okay. Okay.
As F and G. Pog? Pug? This is very unfortunate for Old But Gold though, because this is definitely a smoke moment. So even if Gambit didn't realize it before, they definitely realize it now. BZZ is very conspicuously the only hero that's on the map right now. He is kind of far forward as well. Something's going on. Pepe hands, says FNG. He would like this game to continue.
They're just spamming out as many memes as they can come up with right now. Okay, so if you were in Dota, what do you think your spells would? If Kips the Witch was a Dota hero, what would you do?
What would I do? Some form of information gathering for sure, like either vision or some scan like ability.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've played a lot of Crystal Maiden. Like I like the idea of the mana aura as well, and that's that sort of thing. I feel like I'm more of an enabler than a hero that's going to move mountains in their own right. A support, definitely. And then I don't know. My ultimate would probably be the all-nighter, where I don't know, give a huge damage bonus onto some enemy hero for sure.
Just target him down.
Yeah.
Lock on. Yeah, I'm always
But
surprised that's not very common spell.
Probably also like at the cost of something. Like there has to be a trade-off, because that's what you do when you pull an all-nighter. You sacrifice your sanity for the team. Watch those 10 extra replays. Drink those extra energy drinks.
Knuckle down and get to work.
I have a playlist for that. Midnight Let's Do This playlist. There's
Yeah.
a lot of metal on that.
That was
I've got a lot of various playlists for different moods and different kind of driving playlists, drawing playlists, precasting playlists, traveling playlists. I also sometimes do like playlists for when I'm traveling. I like just put them all together, download them on my phone, and then usually aim for about 30. Seems to be a good number to have. 30, a playlist of 30 songs.
Yeah, it's a bit more than like 3 albums, so you've got a good variety of things going on. Let's see, my favorite, is it? How about that? 23. 1 hour 30. So it doesn't fuel me exactly through the entire night, but it gets me started, and then later I can, once I'm settled in a bit, like surrender to the fact that we're really in the middle of this.
Mhm.
get some more relaxed
Well, that
music
went
on that's a
bad
bit less
quickly.
likely to
Well, that went
distract me
bad
from the work
quickly.
that I'm actually doing.
Yeah, whenever I'm doing writing or drawing, I tend not to put any lyric-based songs on because that always distracts. What are some
Yeah,
mechanics which you're surprised aren't in the game? I think one of the obvious ones are vision, and there's no vision items. There's no vision heroes except for like nighttime, and yeah, for a long time there wasn't anything, and then we had like kind of Night Stalker and Kotl who started
I
to
know I can trust you guys.
play around vision a little bit. But you know, there's no item which gives you vision. There's not many spells which gives.
Vision is extremely powerful, and I disagree with that. It's only Night Stalker and Kotl. The Beastmaster has been in the game forever. There's Bat Rider with the flying vision has been instrumental in taking down heroes from the high ground since, well, TI1.
Yep,
Um,
true.
Storm Spirit, Remnant Vision being flying has always really mattered as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I was just talking about like flat bonuses to vision. You know, flat vision, like how far you can see versus day and night. You know.
Yeah, no, like that used to be a little bit more complicated, of course, as well. Valve has recently really standardized a lot of these night and day vision ranges, with only a couple of heroes sticking out now. But it's still one of the reasons that Luna's support is viable. Excuse me. It's because you actually get to hit people at long range where they can't see you yet at all.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing as well, like tower modifications. You know, you've got Tree who can heal them, Omni Knight who can heal them, and Ogre Magi who can bloodlust them. And that's about it. I don't know. I'm surprised there's no like hero kind of like devoted to maybe buffing up towers, or maybe like some kind of, you know how Techies places mines. There could be like
I know I
a
can
hero
trust
which
you
amplifies
guys.
towers, maybe with like a rocket launcher or something like that, or like something cool like that. Could be fun.
Hmm. It's it would mess with the dynamic of the map a lot, though. Like having permanent structures that are better or can be improved. It would be very hard to balance. I'm just thinking out loud here, right? Because if you do that, a lot in Dota is about, if you kill a hero, it's temporary. If you kill a building, it's forever.
Yeah.
And making the things that are going to be there forever. I mean, even just Tree and Protector and Lich, who are by no means amazing
I know I can
at
trust you guys.
holding and protecting towers.
Very
Like,
cool of
even
you.
that
Very
extra
cool
little
of
bit of
you.
bonus is enough for them to get picked in some games.
Just for
Like,
that.
just
Yeah.
that ability alone. So, I'd say you'd have to be very careful with that. Just because if you get to empower something that's permanently there in that position, it makes it that much harder for the enemy team to get to play their game.
I don't
Know
know,
what
a
I'm saying?
machine gun on the just like a little tiny
Hey,
upgrade
Hey,
to the
it's gonna be so cool.
to the shrine, right? Like make your shrine into a little tower, a little mini tower. Beep 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 beep. Get out of here.
A little gun nest.
Yeah, a little goblin who can just sit on top of it and throw grenades at people or something.
Look at this from FNG. Are you telling me that you think he's doing this with
And I
his
thought
mouse?
there could be like no, but I thought there could be like some kind of like glitch where if you hold it at a certain position, then it just flicks around all over the place.
Maybe?
It's definitely a macro, 100%. When your teammates are bugging you in ranked
add him.
games.
I'm gonna ask him.
Another thing which I've thought there's a possibility to be added, right? So this is a kind of cool idea which I've considered. Killing Roshan would refresh your team abilities. So Scan and Fortify gets refreshed when you kill Roshan, or Roshan drops an item eventually, or just drops something which when you kill him just goes boo and refreshes your team abilities. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna be a negative Nancy here again, but did we really need to make Roshan stronger again? Like, more important?
Well,
Because that's-
maybe if they take away like, I don't think it's that big a deal though, right? I mean, it definitely is a buff to Roshan, but I kind of like how strong Roshan.
One of the reasons why FNG right now in this very game is defending his own jungle instead of moving up to attack the enemy jungle is that he wants to keep a hold of Roshan. And his team is not going to be very likely to take it themselves, especially You would, for example, see a medallion from the Abaddon sometimes if you want to take it, but they're nowhere near those items. So their only chance is to contest it when All But Gold eventually goes for. So that's why the entire top half of the map is so heavily played right now. And this Slark, he is fine going into the enemy jungle without much vision. He'll probably get out, but he already paid the price for that once. It is still risky. So I'm sure that FNG would rather be trading pressure at this point. He would rather be doing the old jungle trade where, you know, they take your tower, you take theirs, and then you colonize their jungle and the other way around. He doesn't get to do that because the Roshan threat is. So don't underestimate how much Roche warps the game. So yeah, if you want to give him something more, especially, you know, refresh on Roche skill, wow, they get Roche and then they immediately get to go on instead of having to, you know, recharge all of the abilities that they had to spend in order to get that. Well, it was like a team fight heavy lineup. China would have
No,
a
I don't
field
mean
day,
I don't mean
actually.
team abilities. I just mean scan and fortify.
Okay.
A full refresh on everybody would be bullshit, no doubt.
Like, fortify?
Fortify's a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, like you can
Scan.
march up to high ground with fortify as well. I'm like, you know, they don't need more help. That's the Aegis. That little thing is specifically to help breach that high ground barrier.
Yeah. Or what about also an amplification? Maybe not from Roshan. Okay, let's say you add Roshan's son on the bottom side of the river, right? That's gonna draw some more people down to bottom. When he dies, it refreshes your fortify and your scan, and it also gives you an item which you can pick up, and when you use it, you can upgrade scan or fortification. When you upgrade scan, it'll also make anybody inside the scan radius be damaged by like a tiny amount, by like 25 a second, and then that'll buff up the more times you kill Roshan's son. And then fortify, it would also give the towers, I don't know, well, they will say, no, you remove split shot, and then when you kill Roshan's son once and apply his buff to fortification, then you get a double split shot on all your towers, not just the tier 2s or tier 3s. And then when you kill him again, you can apply it to fortification, level it up to level 2, and then you get a triple shot on your towers when you use fortification. So it like buffs them up a little bit. Maybe the scan idea is pretty shitty. Maybe you want something different. Maybe like a level 1 could give sight as well as just you know, it doesn't just give you an indication of when there's an enemy there or not, but it gives you vision, and then when you buff it up for a second time, it'll give you true sight, so you can use it to like see heroes, but wouldn't see wards ever. You can only buff them up twice.
So this Roshan's son on the other side of the map, right? What do you think he'd look like? A big dragon, maybe?
Well, I mean, what's Roshan's lore is a dude which actually tried to steal from the shopkeeper. He stole the Ages of Immortality from the shopkeeper.
Nomad, I'm baiting you into saying that League of Legends has good ideas, because that's kind of what you're
is that a
proposing.
thing? Oh, okay. I mean, I know nothing about League. My experience with League is that I observed a League game once for money, and that was literally it.
For money, good. Better
Yeah,
get paid.
and it was an Egyptian as well, so I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't know.
Oh,
What
that
people were
sounds
saying.
hilarious, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that the casters probably got to be pretty mad at that stage to have somebody who didn't speak English and didn't know the game trying to observe. But I mean, it was all right. You know, just kind of. There's not any action in League anyway, so you know, basically just calmly roll the camera around the map and hope for the best.
I'm trying to read the Cyrillic. I think there's something going on at his house. Maybe the internet's out.
That's the admin. We've definitely been paused for over 15 minutes here. No response from the admin. Interesting. Or should we be getting notifications about pause time or something like that? Right?
Yeah, or maybe the admin lives in the same neighborhood as Illidan, and he's also
Shit. That's unfortunate.
internet's out.
You want to know the worst change I could come up with for drafts?
Oh yeah, hit me.
All right. So every draft, you get a dummy draft where you can pretend like you've picked one hero when you've actually picked another. So you open with Gyro, and then at the end of the draft, when all the heroes get picked, it goes, ba-ba, dummy draft, and then switches over, and it's actually techies. Or, you know, maybe something decent. You know, it's actually Void.
Oh man.
Then if you pick the hero which the enemy has dummied, then they have to play with the hero which they originally picked. Now we just get mind games upon mind games.
Oh, this is just like there's already so many mind games going on in a draft that
They just ruin it.
I mean, it's an amazingly fun idea for some fun tournament mode.
That's
It's
one thing. I
great
mean,
that they
after
can
Midas
switch.
mode, I always get all these ideas bouncing around my head of stuff which you could do.
Write them down, dude. Write them down. Sell them for money.
I'll just be Slax's main man after the next Midas mode. Easy.
Yeah, who knows? Well, easy is not it. Like the amount of work that they put into that man.
Yeah, it's insane. Entirely community driven. Finding those. I mean, the sponsors are the thing which have impressed me the most. I mean, like I've done a lot of work with trying to find sponsors and trying to reach out to companies in the past as well. You know, I ran a university club. We had to try and get professional sponsors, and I ran a radio show as well. We were looking for sponsors as well. Done a podcast where we were sponsored by someone but trying to look for someone else. Jesus, it is hard. It is really, really difficult to run people down, and like they'll always be asking for something which you can't give. They'll always be, you know, it's cool. I mean, yeah, it's a crazy job. Then on top of that, all the production which goes into it as well. And it works. I mean, the fact that Midas mode works just kind of bowls me away still. You know, you've got this crazy ass map, you got these crazy ass models, you've got all this stuff going on, and you know they had issues, of course. It's totally fair though.
Bait.
It worked.
That
Oh
was
no, now comes the hero
ones
spam.
you know.
They're bored.
Well, that went bad quickly.
To go bad quickly.
Yeah,
There's
that's a good
also
one.
a little heart drawn on the map by Dream.
Yeah,
It's a very nice heart.
PewDiePie. And income. We can scroll much bigger than them. Can't see it.
It's a shame. But you know, you do get to say now that you made art, Old but Gold, the collaboration.
Collaboration work. I made art with a ton of people. Do you see my interviews where I had the whiteboard and stuff? I made
Oh
great
no, I
art.
don't.
Oh, that was amazing. I mean, the one thing I learned in TI is that pro players are terrible artists. There's a reason they play video games for a living. Don't draw pictures. Not a single one of them was anywhere remotely good. Like, and it's not even flaming. Just plain straight up. They are terrible artists. God awful. Every single one. I think the only was it? I think it was Jarex actually who was like, I'm actually pretty good at drawing. I was like, oh cool. Wow, we might actually have some decent artwork here. No, he was awful as well.
That sounds like yes.
It was good though. It was very good fun. I think my favorite was probably
Now, nobody wins.
maybe Zyatz's. Oh, he's back! Goodness gracious! But yeah.
It's
Oh
back.
no, who was it from Mineski? I interviewed someone from Mineski. Was it Mineski? I don't remember.
I just want to know about Zyatz's drawing skills. I worked for the guy with over half a year, and over a year actually, and I never saw his drawing. So I'm
Yeah,
curious.
good. It was bad. I think he drew a house. Looks more like a tent with a window. I don't know. It was weird.
Oh! All right.
We have a game. The Roshan match has restarted. And just to recap, here we are 14-11, 18 minutes into the game with a slight advantage for Old But Gold, but this Slark is farming. The Slark is going to be coming back into this game in a big way with a BKB on the way. That is going to be the item he's looking towards. Me one up in the top lane. They're all hunting down on Shashlo right now. Old But Gold, they want to bring down the offlaner. And he's making his way through the trees, that classic tree-eating maneuver. But Velhol gets onto the other side of him, blocking him in, beating him up, and he's going to get brought down by Old But Gold. And might look towards Roshan now, but I imagine they might actually want to just put some more pressure onto his enemy jungle.
And you could see that, you know, half an hour ago when this pause started, they were going to move up in this direction into the jungle. But since you know, Gambit would have known that there was a smoke going on. As soon as the game unpaused, everyone made a 180, moved straight over towards the other side, and Sacho just totally didn't see that twist coming.
Yep, that was nice. It was nice utilizing the pause time there. As you know, it kind of wouldn't have favored them otherwise, but they turn it in their advantage. So.
Yeah, and this was one of those moments where the mind games really matter. Like, Gambit had time to think about the fact that Old Gold would think about, but they didn't. And now they have BZZ sitting on his mid lane. This is such a nice use of a bristleback as well. As soon as he's tanky enough, you put him on the short wave, so the most dangerous place, ideally, where the enemy pressure is coming in. And he has this tower sitting behind him, so if they gank him, he's going to live long enough, for sure, for the backup to come in. And FNG, yeah, you gotta TP out of there, buddy.
Nullified him. Second too late.
Is not a Crystal Maiden. You know, sometimes your teammates forget that you're not fast enough. This happens at every level. They vacate the premises and you're left sitting there being like, well.
To be fair, in my level, my teammates never knew that I wasn't fast enough in the first place, so there's no way they could forget that. Disruption comes out. They managed to find themselves vampires just trying to clean up some creep waves, but unfortunately will be dropping down rather quickly. And now there's a double damage rune. This could really open up the Roche pit here for Old Gold if they fancy it. Yeah, they're going straight in. Leading the charge. They are in the pit right now, not giving the Slark any more time to farm up, although he's just about finished off his BKB, but I don't think he's going to get here in time, so he's just going to keep on pushing out. Unfortunately, this means they're going to be letting the game go on for another at least 8 minutes whilst they kind of wait for this Aegis. I'm imagining they're going to try and wait for it to run out and not really go for anything here, as bottom lane tower is finished off. Meanwhile, Velhor chasing forwards onto Crystal Maid, but Shashlo is here to save the day, and they look to turn things around. But with the Shadow Demon coming over, well, I say coming over, he did kind of just ditch him there, throws one Shadow Poison, goes, yep, there you go, buddy, you'll be right. And Velhor's like, please, they're still beating me up. But eventually they do come back and save him.
He's basically asking.
Yeah, braces I think need a nerf. What?
Yeah, I would agree.
I think 3% magic resistance would be fine. I don't know why it's 5%. And
nice run number.
I think strength is a little bit too much as well. Well, I don't know. Maybe the strength isn't too bad. It's just the magic, I think. But you just feel so tanky with braces, man. You feel ridiculous when you have them.
It's incredible. And he just gets to walk away right there because of them. Earth Spirit, pretty tanky on his own, but not normally that hard to bring down, especially when he's silenced. And yeah, the bottom tier 2 tower as well is a classic trade for Roche. If you know that they're going for it and you're completely out of position, that's at least the one thing you can usually get. So at least Gambit gets to threaten this bottom lane right now and maybe force Gold back if they want to go for the dire base.
Ooh, bottom lane. They're looking at the Slark right now. Slark being chased down, trying to back himself out. FNG with the TP away. I'm not sure Slark's going to be able to get out of this one now. He does have an ultimate and a BKB. He's going to have to pop him and get himself to safety. The rocket does nout. As the Slark gets away, it does cost him that BKB charge, but I think he'll be okay with that. I mean, living is the important thing. And drawing everybody back across the map as well, just delaying these pushes, very, very vital.
That's for sure. So now this bottom lane is in a position where it's going to push on its own. Mid tier 1 still up for the side of Old Gold. So this bristleback, even if he didn't just TP to the top lane, he could have always come back in fast. And FNG
jumping forwards on Shashlo here. Shashlo will break out of the stun immediately with the borrowed time and get himself out.
But now he can't frontline for just a little while. It's enough at the very least for Old Gold to confidently move up to this high ground.
Yeah, they are really committing to this. I mean, Slark still without BKB for a little bit. Oh, they're going for this. They've realized that their time is up and they need to just go. I think the plan is actually just to try and take on the backlines here, get a quick pick off and then maybe disengage, but they're going to try and go from there. End up getting sucked into a full fight. Here is a Tiny on the target. He's going to be brought down and it's actually Gambit who are on the run right now. Gambit though, maybe looking at BZZ. BZZ being beaten, but FNG just gets taken down by GPK on the backlines. 2 Gambit heroes beaten up. The wraparound does not work and Shasho in trouble as well. He's just going to pop. Oh, dearie me. A GPK. Ooh, an Ancient nearly finishes him off, but he's okay for now. But still, the top middle range barracks, the middle melee barracks. Which one do they want to go for? They focus on the melee barracks now. Both of them will be going down inevitably, and probably top as well, but they still have a tier 1 and 2 in the bottom lane, so Gambit at least get to hold on to that, but they decided there is no chance of fighting into its ages any longer.
And that's a big price paid right there for the fact that Sasha didn't have his ultimate up. He popped it to get out of his over-positioning, but then he couldn't frontline for the Slark at all. And this man went in, used a full BKB charge. He's only got 8 Essence Shift stacks right now. That's not really the way you want to come back into a fight at the Slark.
No, but thankfully All But Gold will reverse now that they have taken down that range barracks. They don't want the melee barracks, so that is going to be a small victory for Gambit. Well, not even a victory, really, just allowing the game to go on a little bit longer.
FNG and Bold move up onto the high ground there. He is very lucky that nobody was in position to punish him for that.
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
Let's look at the buybacks over here. He doesn't have his either.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alright, and a big purple arrow drawn from BZZ. So he wants to stay on the top lane, which means that most likely... Oh, Dream is going in on the mid lane. I think
Something
that's a
here,
bad
but now
idea.
the counter initiation coming in. The Silence is out, forcing his BKB once again, but now looking for the turnaround once more. But the ultimate used from Vanscore to hold back Dream, and now he gets himself in a really awkward situation. Forced to go up the ulti, but can't TP away right now. Has to go on the run. Shashlow's behind, trying to help him out. In comes a rock, not going to connect. As an Avalanche going to hold them back as well from Vampire. Gambit buying a little bit more time on the board right now. As in the bottom lane as well, GP Cave just pushing in as hard as he can, trying to buy some space and make some time.
At the very least, the Aegis has now timed out.
Yep.
The unfortunate part is that Illidan has 4,000 gold. And he can move straight on in his next fight and basically buy whatever he wants. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dream
probably full
resorts
BKB.
to just cutting the wave in mid right now, but it's not much use. There's already a creep wave coming in on the top lane.
It's rough.
Dire's top
Very
barracks
violent.
is
It's only a 6k gold advantage, but just the tempo that All But Gold are hitting right now is not something which Gambit feel they can match. They just let their barracks fall. 2 barracks now dead. They can continue waiting. A full Shadow Blade brought up now by the Slark even.
Yeah, the gold advantage doesn't really matter when you can't stay in the fight and you don't have any ways to split push either, because those are basically your 2 main options. You split push or you push. If it doesn't happen, well, tough luck. Like, pickoffs are something you force unless the enemy is actually making mistakes. And they can't force All But Gold to not stick together anymore. There's no way to peel them apart because they don't have any threat onto the base. There's 2 tier 1s still up in the mid and the outer lane. So, yeah, it's going to be the smoke.
They're looking for some action right now.
Manscore is going to be late, and they're gonna spot him if he, he's wisely stays in the tree right now.
Yep, into the bottom lane they go. Illidan would be a great target to engage upon. Slug does now have that BKB, having popped the Shadow Walk very early on from the Shadow Blade.
Dire's bottom tower is
If
under
that's a
Nano
play,
to side as well.
Velhor would be an even better target as Velhor runs down. I think they've seen... No, they haven't seen the Slug. Doing a great job staying in the vision. Yes, they have, as Jashlow's now revealed, saying on the front lines. Meanwhile, FNG coming down. They're just going to try and get the quick pick off onto the Shadow Demons on the back line, but they can't do it in time to get this disruption off as the Crystal Main just gets melted on the front lines. Vanscore will die here, but the BKB's dual pop from All But Gold. It's going to be a straight up support trade, but maybe they can find some more. Baden's going to be the target as the Slark jumping in, trying to get some damage off onto Illidan. Storm Rage, GPK's here as well. Doesn't have the screen, but Illidan's going to drop all the same. Dream, he's getting a lot of Agi stacks off right now. Now popping that ultimate, chunking into the DK. DK needs some help right now. The help's going to come in the form of BZZ, forcing back Dream. Meanwhile, on the backside of the fights, G able to kill off GPK. Thought that the Slug was going to go in a little bit deeper with him there, but that was not the case. Meanwhile, the base is being sieged by a bunch of super creeps right now, so they do have this to worry about. Slug is seen under the sentry. He realized this as well as his Shadow Dance was taken off. Now choosing to get himself away.
A little bit risky from All But Gold to pop all of their BKBs there when the BKB of the Slark
Well,
wasn't
wait a
forced
minute. The
yet.
tiny vampire caught on a little bit of an adventure here. He's trying to get himself out, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. Though. Nice juke around. Really nice. Oh my god. Vampire, what the hell was that? That was a magnificent juke around the trees there.
Great
Playing it
footwork.
perfectly.
And now it's Vanscore. He's in
Vanscore,
trouble.
yeah, he's gone. He's out of here. Dies the Dark Pack despite getting the disruption off.
Tower is under attack.
A little bit sloppy. FNG? He's found himself earlier, but yeah, I don't think he actually wants to.
Yeah.
He don't
He's
want to
just-
go on that.
He's just asserting. He's just throwing spells at him to make him believe that he's got a team behind him. And now he actually do. There is no Shadim for 20 seconds. I mean, Dream can really consider this right now. He's running himself in, and he's going to initiate onto the Bristleback. Now, he doesn't have a Silver Edge just yet as he kicks out of the pounce. Dream backing off. No, he's got the Dark Pack. So.
This is extremely valuable for him because he has a BKB up, and he hasn't had to use it, and he is stealing about 20 stacks of Agi right now. So
Those from the last fight
he
now
is ready
running
to
out.
fight. That was a good moment for him to keep him up, though. Sitting on 12 now, not too bad.
Dire are scanning.
And since the Bristleback needs time for those quill stacks to really build up, he's a good target to go and grab some Agi stacks.
Velhor, my goodness, the damage coming down. FNG going for the big ultimate as well. Does get stunned up, but Velhor is finished off. FNG, though, going to follow the same fate. And the Vampire as well can't withstand the damage of these two big dealers on the front lines as the Sonic Wave actually cuts through on the back lines, killing off Vanscore. Okay, Velhor being chased as Dream is on the run. Dream should be able to get out of this one. And again, you know, just these strike tactics from Gambit proving kind of successful. This time, they do lose two in the middle of the fight. They got to be a little bit more careful with their positioning of a Tiny there. I think FNG had the right idea, just using his spells on the front line, drawing in the fire, and taking the pressure off the Slark a little bit. But yeah, I'm not too sure about if the Tiny should be in that deep or not.
Well, if you want to jump on that high ground there, which is a very risky spot to go up in, which is why I was so surprised that it happened, you have to go hard or you don't go at all. So I agree with his posturing there. And you can see that this fighting and this chipping away at Old Gold's tempo is really doing work for Gambit right now. Their base hasn't been under threat ever since that previous assault. So good job
They're
for them.
really playing high tempo right now, and they actually found themselves a DK. His BKB has just come off cooldown. It is going to be forced. Slark Mima in the middle of this fight, just still trying to fight up, seeing how long he can wait on the BKB. Will finally be forced to pop it here, but he's just chopping at G, still going as GPK gets into the fight as well. The disruption going to be by G a little bit more time, but they target down FNG. FNG will be dropped. Chashlo as well getting away on the sidelines of the fight. Dream wants to come back in. They're waiting for him though, and they're going to jump on him immediately, but Dream can just get back up, in and out of the fight like a yo-yo as he gets himself away once again. GPK though might not be so lucky, surrounded by heroes as he runs himself into the trees. Vanscore is looking, but he gets a blink away, and the Quap is gone. I don't even know where she went. She just flew away. See you later, Quap.
And this is the way that Gambit has to play these fights, these stabbing attacks, trying to draw all but gold away from each other, because you can see them clustering right now. They're moving away from heroes that they might be able to kill, because they know that if they get caught away from each other, like Vanscore right now, he's just getting run down by Dream. And
Yeah.
he underestimated the backup that was going to come in for that
Radiant's
support
bottom tower is
anyway.
under attack.
Absolutely, yeah. That was Gambit just enjoying the in and out life, enjoying playing around, just kind of feeling like they've got all the gold on the end of a string, and then they pull that string a little bit too tight. The string breaks, and all the gold come crashing down on top of them. Now both your cores are dead. You're going to give up the second road, which is certainly not on the playing cards for Gambit. That is not the way that they want this to go.
I think we're building towards disrupting this Roshan so carefully. And then, yeah, as you say, they start feeling the flow. And this is why you often see people make mistakes at the moments where you expect that it's the least likely. Is you have been winning fights and you start feeling strong. And what you do because you feel strong is you start taking all fights instead of respecting the reasons why you were winning the fights in the first place.
Yeah,
and
that's
still
very
doing it the
wise.
same. It feels like you're still getting contained in a sense. You're like, I'm strong now. I don't need to. Yes,
Dire's bottom
you still need
shrine
to.
has
It's
fallen.
very hard to fight an enemy up front that you've been fighting from the flanks up until that point. And it's very deceptive. You can win 3 fights in a row. As they haven't been winning exactly, but they were doing very well for a team that was so much on the back foot. And then suddenly get it turned around on you because you decide to change your tactic.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And now, through all of that, Gambit have been set back an immense amount. They nearly seem to even things out. This Slark, he is still a big deal. There's no way you can discount Dream from this game right now. But for sure, with an Aegis in hand, Ultimate Gold going to be very good about taking to the high ground, but they're actually focusing on the gyros. They come in, a huge Sonic Wave ripping through everybody in the backlines here. Tiny as well trying to fight it up with the BKBs, can't do a whole lot. Slark comes out of the backlines, but can't even find a pickoff to start things off. FNG is just letting it go on the front lines for now, but now with his ultimate ends, he gets beaten down pretty quickly indeed. GPK coming back in, trying to play around. Again, the Slark and the Queen of Pain dipping in and out of this fight as they go onto the DK. Dream in the middle of everybody, but popping that BKB, manning up onto the gyrocopter right now, going up onto the high ground as well. He's not fearing things, but now that BKB ends, he can pop the ultimate and continue taking these stacks, and the gyrocopter will be going down here. A nice jump in from Vampire as well, holding them both still. Can they finish the job? As Vampire will be taken down, but Dream gets the DK. The cores are dead. Vanscore cannot escape. It's a triple kill for Dream as he goes over to the trees. Velhor gets taken down in there as well, and it is a 4-man wipe. Ultra kill for Dream as Gambit defend their base, and then some. Aegis taken down. That was perfect. Beautiful spell usage by the Queen of Pain. The Tiny jumping back in with the buyback there, just abusing the fact that he knew they were going to burn their BKBs if he just got right up in their faces for the first time. That was absolutely planned. Gambit with a lovely, lovely fight, bring them back into this game and drawing things even.
Really very well done. And you can see that they're also just completely ignoring this Bristleback, who is a very tanky presence, but he doesn't actually deal a lot of damage. So they can freely go for the gyrocopter and the DK, force those BKBs out, and then as soon as the BKBs are done, the real game begins for Gambit, because they get to use all of their stuns, all of their slows to allow these two mobile cores to jump in and out of the fight. And yeah, extremely well executed right there. A little bit overzealous, I'd say, from Ultimate Gold to chase up that high ground again after the buybacks had come out.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you can see why they were feeling so confident. They had an Aegis, they had a DK with the Satanic as well, you know. It was all looking in their favor, but they just weren't expecting Gambit to play that fight so well. And I love when teams use buybacks like that as well, you know, like the Tiny did, just jumps in, forces all of these BKBs just for him, and if they're doing that for him, then he's more than happy just to come back for a second time. And FNG also doing a great job on just drawing some of the attention away from Ultimate Gold.
It's one of the ultimate team plays, right? Dying for the team.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Literal sense of... And G is, I know G when he's in moods like this. The decisiveness with which he just penned that line. Like, alright,
Oh, that's nice.
this is the lane we're going to push. Alright, now
They're going to
on the
clash.
opposite side.
Clash is going to be revealed, as is G as well, as they just clash with one another straight away. Pops the ultimate on the front lines, but this is the Earth Spirit disrupting the fight, coming back on the back lines, holding them off, as the Lotus Orb as well, making a ton of space in here. Velhor, he is going to go down, but he's already built his team a ton of space. Meanwhile, Dream forced to back out, did a pretty good job of just getting a couple of stacks up to start things off. Now the stun comes out, and I think the CM might be done for here. Tries to throw him back into the slug, but doesn't quite work out that way. But Dream now engaging onto the Gyrocopter. He always uses a BKB, and he's going to drop there. Must use the BKB a little bit early on. I didn't see it before then. Now Slug looking... Oh, Slug needs to get out of this one right now. He doesn't actually have his BKB or his ultimate, so he's just got to hide in the sidelines of the fight, but no one is chasing. No one is catching him, and he's going to jump back in with his Silver Edge. A little bit of a pounce there, casually on the drive-by, bringing down Vanscore yet again. Dream looking forward for more, but will not find it, but the tower can now belong to them if they want it. 3 heroes dead on Ultra Golden, only missing FNG on Gambit, which is when he's best. Gambit is, FNG is best when he's dead, because he can just tell his team exactly what to do.
I'm not sure if he'd agree, but yeah, you could see there really that Ultimate Gold had... They've got that strength around the Bristleback and around their tankiness when they're all clustered together on that high ground, but when those two cores, like G and Illidan, moved over to the side and the supports couldn't actually keep up, they were stuck on that high ground over to the side, the Gyrocopter gets picked off. He needs that presence around him, otherwise that Slark that's built up all of those stacks during the BKB, during his first ultimate, is just going to rip him to shreds. And we've seen this twice now. They got to protect their Gyrocopter better.
Yeah, I mean, The BKB in that engagement was absolutely crucial, and dropping it really early whilst I think the Earth Spirit was making tons of space on the back lines. You know, I thought Velhor had actually won that fight for Old But Gold, just jumping in and forcing back 4 heroes, but they didn't manage to turn around and kill the Slug. They didn't manage to deal with Dream in the slightest, actually, and it just ended up being a kind of a delay on the start. And in the end, it did go Gambit's way once again, and the game has taken a 180, and now Old But Gold, despite having a bunch of racks in their favor still, have got to be feeling the pressure.
And Gambit is not likely to let that pressure up. I love how they've been playing this game. Like, they've really powered through and stayed active during that period of time where normally teams would just sit back and let Old But Gold do their thing. And force themselves back into the driving seat here, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
With 2 racks down.
Really impressive play by them. And really impressive, you know.
Oh, Illidan,
holding the
no!
line as in goes. Illidan getting tossed back by Vampire. And he's actually going to take advantage of this and try and jump on FNG. And I think FNG will just die on the sidelines here. Okay, okay. Maybe not the fight they were looking for. Abaddon as well, getting beaten down. He's got the borrowed time to turn this around, though. Velhor with a BKB, actually, on this Earth Spirit. He's continuing to control up the Abaddon, but he has got a blink and is able to do it as the Sonic Wave comes ripping through. Oh my god, Illidan on the backlands, caught by the tail of the Sonic Wave as Dream jumps on top of him, takes that one down. G also being tugged off as a buyback from the Gyros. He's going to be back into this fight soon. BCC being a little bit focused here, but Dream can't really get anything more than this, but Velhor wants him to. He's trying to draw him into a fight. Knows that he's got neither a BKB nor a Shadow Dance. But they won't catch. They can't make the fight continue in their favor. And now they've got a buyback from Illidan. A real condition on the cards for Gambit to take this victory if they can bring down this gyrocopter. They must protect him. Illidan cannot go down again. It was critical beforehand, and now it would be a fatal mistake to let it happen. Roshan going to respawn in 15 seconds. If Old But Gold just stay in there a little bit longer, they would know about this. It's going to be the fastest respawn I've seen in a while. But no one is there to look. It might not even get scouted.
They really feel this momentum right now. They need to be decisive, and it might be pressuring them too much. Roshan respawned right this second. Neither of the teams knows yet, but Dream, he's going to be on top of G.
Straight away, he tries to go for the BKB, but there's a basher on Dream, newly picked up, so he wasn't aware of it. G trying to get himself away, but the chunks come in, and Dream brings him down. And now they look towards BZZ as well. Luckily, the gyrocopter is out safe. The big one is gone, but unfortunately, the Bristle might be taken asleep, and he does not have... Yes, he does have buyback, actually. He was about 2 gold away when he died, so... Still, though. Gambit really feeling it coming in right now, and he's got 126 stolen agility plus 15 permanent, by the way. Guy is agile. He's fast.
He is, and there's not a lot of options on Old But Gold to stop him off. Like, I think they definitely need the Purge from the Shadow Demon to be on him every single fight. And then next to that, Velhor, he's reached his 150 gold per minute tap. He's going... Oh, he had a head scooter. I really thought that was the right item, but he's changing it around. He's going for an assault harass instead now.
This for what? Refresher shard for Slark. I really like. I mean, as much as I love the fancy double sonic waves, you need... I mean, the Shadow Dance and the BKB, getting 2 of these out is just so fight winning.
Old But Gold can't do anything against that.
I have to try. Buyback still up on the DK and the Bristle, not forced out as Gambit take to the high ground. They won't really be afraid of losing a couple of barracks here, but Mega Creeps definitely something they have to avoid, especially they have no tier 2, so it's nothing to hold them. But the Slark is actually getting beaten down on the front lines, but managing to get that BKB off, turning onto the DK. DK stuck on the front lines, can't do a thing. The only thing for him to do is die. Bristleback as well, trying to play up right now. Illidan doesn't feel strong enough to come in. He has got the BKB, but that's about it. Bristleback dying for a second time, meaning he does not have the buyback available. The death cost, the respawn. It was too much. Now GPK on the front line, Dream as well, trying to face it up with the BKB, jumping on top of the DK. DK might be going down for a second time. He is dead. No buyback. Down goes the Shadow Demon as well. And there's your GG coming out. Gambit get the turnaround and take the series 2-0 over Old But Gold.
Well, you wanted a closer game. You got a closer game. This was Old But Gold really creating a win condition for themselves and then getting it torn away by Gambit. You can't even call this a throw. Gambit went hunting for this. They risked a lot in those little assassination attacks on the other side of the map where they kept trading support for support, forcing Old But Gold back, breaking their momentum until finally that Slark was ready to survive the BKBs of Old But Gold. And he could finally start playing that in, out, in, pounds, hit you twice, pounds out again game. It was really well done from Gambit. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that was a complete turnaround in their strategy. You know, they were always looking towards this late game, and when they got there, they seemed exactly to know how to pull off this draft. And yeah, 32-32 was a scoreline even. So really, really close game between these two teams as these Titans of CIS battle it out. Either one of these two teams could be the new captains of CIS, you know, either one of them could take the top spot. But today, it is going to be Gambit. They will be moving through the upper bracket to play against the current kings of CIS, Positive Guys. They did. They've done the best out of everybody recently, I would say, seeming as Navi didn't make it through to the groups. And they kind of got really close to beating Navi in the finals of the Reshuffle Madness. Positive Guys. So I'd say Positive Guys are probably the tops. But Gambit looking to prove me wrong, prove everybody wrong. They have done so today, beating out Old But Gold. My God, what a game! I mean, yeah, Dream. His performance on that Slark was pretty damn phenomenal. I felt like Shashlo did a really good job as well, just kind of playing around the fights. This Blink, that was a really weird pickup, but being able to be the frontliner without really having that much effective HP. I mean, I know he's got borrowed time, but he was able to kind of draw a lot of the focus off Old Bagol and make himself as much of an issue as possible. And then still was able to save people in a lot of situations and breaking through stuns in the middle of fights as well was pretty impressive from him. Keeping his head straight. GPK still continues to impress on his Queen of Pain and other heroes, a big flashy playmaker, and definitely one of the new rising stars in CIS to me.
Oh yeah, for sure. He is such a valuable pickup for F&G, and I think between the two of them, they can make so much happen. And yeah, if Dream gets a Dream Slark game out of all of that. I mean, we saw him at the start. We thought maybe his momentum was going to be stopped when he had some hiccups in the mid game, but he bounced back phenomenally and all around very strong performance mentally as well from this young squad.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, that's going to just about do it for today's game, as we did earlier see Positive Guys coming out above Hellraisers, taking the 2-0, and now Gambit managing to pull off the same thing versus Old But Gold, which brings the bracket to a standstill with Positive Guys versus Gambit is going to be the upper bracket finals. Winner of that game will be qualified. Meanwhile, down in the lower bracket, Hellraisers is going to be fighting it off against Old But Gold. The loser will go through to the minor qualifiers. The winner will get to continue to play off here for the major qualifiers and get through to the lower bracket finals. A lot to play for, and as I said, you know, all of these CIS teams going to be violently fighting for that top dog position. Now the VP and Navi are out of the way. The doors are open, and Gambit are the ones who are going to be looking most like they want to take a step through it. Their game versus Positive Guys is going to be pretty damn exciting. All that Dota coming up tomorrow. 3 best of 3s coming out tomorrow. I can't wait. We're going to be finding out who's going to be making it through on the CIS qualifiers. But from us, for today, it's going to be a goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Nomad. She's been Kips. If you don't know us, then please do follow us on old Twitter and on here as well. Let us know how you think we did. We're always keen to hear your feedback. And yeah, I mean, I think my closing thoughts for today is that CIS is shaping up to be an extremely exciting region this season. What say you, Kips?
I'd say the same. I was very curious about the way that VP reshuffled. I had high hopes for Navi, actually, high expectations, and maybe they fell prey to that.
Yeah, same.
But that means that yeah, the doors are wide open for the new challengers to come up and take space in this new power vacuum that has been created. So looking forward who does that and seeing how far they can run with it.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to sign off for today. Once again, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow for more CIS action. We're going to say goodbye on the MDLX qualifiers.